Hello and welcome back to the Joyful Soul Creates. Charlotte here, and today I'm sharing my project for the Kawaii new release at Stampers Delights. I'm going to be playing with these marker pals images for my project, but first I'm going to be starting with creating an alcohol ink background. And I'm making a kind of splash background. I thought that would be fun to go with the image. So I pulled in all of my alcohol inks to work out which colours I wanted to use, and I'm going to create a rainbow of sorts, starting with coral, which will be my red. So I put a drop of coral onto my vellum and I added a drop of alcohol blending solution. And then I'm using my air puffer just to move the ink around. This air puffer is from my camera cleaning supplies, so not specifically meant for crafting, but it works well enough. There are also crafting ones available out there. I know that Holtz has one, so that is an option as well. After the coral, I moved on to my orange, which is Sunset Orange, and again I'm using a mixture of the ink itself and the blending solution just to get things moving. Then I will move on to the yellow, which is Sunshine Yellow. I don't actually use the alcohol blending solution every time because I did find that actually the ink worked well enough even without it. I do have my gloves on, as you can see. I like to use gloves when working with alcohol ink anyway, but also I wanted to make sure I'm not getting any alcohol ink on my wrist brace. My green I used was Pistachio, and then I'm using Stream for my blue. And yes, I do still have the wrist brace on. I've had my x-rays and blood tests, everything came back normal, so it's most likely just a case that I've overused my wrist and I just need to rest it. So I'm trying to do that, but yeah, I'm not the best at it. I feel like if I'm not crafting or, at my computer, what do I have to do? But I have set up speech recognition on my computer, so I can write my blogs and do whatever else on my computer without using my hand. So that's good. Back to the inking. I don't have a purple, so I thought, well, red and blue make purple, so let's try putting a drop of the coral and a drop of the stream together and seeing if we can make a purple with that. Interestingly, it makes more of a black than a purple. It's a very dark blue, I guess. So I decided to leave that and come back to it later. I tested my focal panel, which has the marker pals and is die cut with a heart, just to see if the ink was coming out far enough. I didn't think it would be, and I was correct that it was not. So I went round again, adding each of the colours in turn and spritzing it out and just trying to get the colour spread out more so that it would show up properly from behind my image. This technique where you use the air puffer really does give quite a natural look, and it creates all these spikes and interesting lines with your ink. It's very difficult to control, of course. I mean, you get some control from depending which direction you're blowing from, but that's about it. You really can't control it other than that. And also the alcohol ink doesn't move a huge amount on the vellum. It soaks in very quickly and will stop moving. So this might work better on Yupo, but I don't actually have any Yupo at the moment, and I like using vellum for alcohol ink because it's a nice inexpensive alternative. But you can of course play with whatever different surface you would like to try using. So I did go back to the purple when I got back around there and try to add more red and more blue and try and mix it, and it just wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. I didn't mind how it looked. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't purple. So again, I left it, continued just building out the red and the orange and making sure all the colours were spread out enough to show from behind my heart. And then eventually I did go back to the purple piece. And I remembered that I do have a kind of purpley pink, but it's an alcohol pearl, and none of the other colours I've used have been pearls. But I thought I'd give it a try. So this is Intrigue, and it has lots of shimmer to it, and I dropped that down and spread it out, and it does make it more purple, but it also does, as I said, look very shimmery, which isn't really what I'm after because none of my other colours are shimmery. So I didn't end up putting too much of that down. But by adding the blending solution as well, it seemed to kind of do what I had been after. It's not perfect, but it's better than it was at first, I think. If I had shimmers in all of the colours, I probably would have just done shimmers in for the whole rainbow, just because I like shimmer. I'm not a huge fan of glitter because it gets everywhere, and also normal glitter is not great for the environment. It's microplastics, so biodegradable glitter is out there and is a much better option, but generally I don't prefer to use glitter all that much. I will from time to time, but not all that often. So having completed my alcohol ink panel and left it to dry, I needed to add adhesive to put it on my card base. The best way I find to adhere vellum is just to turn the whole thing into a sticker. So you want one continuous piece of adhesive behind it. I have this very wide adhesive that's just from a local shop here in Finland, but you can also get very wide double-sided tape from, I believe, Elizabeth Crafts, and also scrapbook.com sell them. I will find links for those and add those to the description box down below, because I've heard good things about them even if they're not the ones I've used myself. So coating the entire back with one continuous piece of adhesive, that way it's not going to show through at all and you won't be dealing with, you know, ugly bits of adhesive showing through. If you have a Xyron sticker maker, that's also an option, but I find that double-sided tape works well enough, so I haven't seen the need to invest in a Xyron machine yet. If you have a Xyron sticker maker and you think it's worth investing in, then do let me know in the comments why you think that is, and maybe you'll be able to convince me. Once I had the adhesive backing on, I made sure to trim away any excess and then used my bone folder to press it on firmly to make sure it was really well attached. I'm then going to use my reverse tweezers to remove the backing. I actually end up putting it the opposite way around to what I'd originally planned. So when I was creating it, I had the purple at the top and I had intended to have the purple at the top on the finished design. But then after some fiddling, I decided actually it looks better with the purple at the bottom. So that is how I did it. In order to get it adhered straight, I like to pull back just one corner of the adhesive, get the panel into position, press that corner down, and then peel the rest away, and then it will be nice and straight. And I do use my bone folder on the inside of my card to press that panel down, because I didn't want to rub over the alcohol ink in case it's not quite dry in any places. I didn't want to smudge it. Whilst I'm trimming off the overhanging pieces with my craft knife, I'll talk a bit about my focal image. So as I said, these are the Marker Pals images, which are part of the new release at Stampers' Delights. These are digi stamps, and Stampers' Delights have lots of great digi stamps, so if you're into those, I definitely suggest having a look. I printed mine onto some alcohol marker friendly paper and I coloured them off screen with my Spectrum Noir Illustrator markers. I'm not showing it on screen just because the focus of this video was the background, and also because of my wrist injury, colouring is really slow, also a bit messy. If you look at the boy when it's more on screen in a minute, he's a bit messier than I would prefer, but I did not have the energy to redo him, so I mean, hopefully he's good enough, and hopefully my wrist will be better soon so that I can get back to enjoying my colouring. I did cut the image out with a heart die. I thought it fit very nicely for them. Actually, I specifically arranged them so that they would fit in this heart die when printed out. The way I make sure that things will fit if I want to use a die is that when I have them in Word, which is where I arrange my images before printing, I make sure the Word document is set to 100% size, and I literally just hold my die against them on the screen and see if they fit. There might be a better way to do it, but it works well enough for me. So then I put some Tombow Mono Multi liquid glue onto the back of my heart and pressed that well into place. This does cover up most of the alcohol inking, but you can see bits of it poking out from around. The yellow is almost completely covered, but I think you do still get the effect there. I pulled in a sentiment from my stash that seemed appropriate to go with the images, and I white heat embossed it onto a piece of black card and then fussy cut around it, which again was not really resting my wrist, but yeah, I need to be better about that. And I just used the Tombow glue again to adhere that into place, which completed my card. Do make sure to click on my blog link in the description box to head over and see what else is in the new release. If you enjoyed this video, you can press the like button to let me know, and leave a comment telling me what your favourite way to use alcohol inks is. If you're not yet a subscriber, you can subscribe by clicking the button on screen. There are also a couple of other videos showing if you'd like to see more from me straight away. Otherwise, I'll thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye!